All right, guys, so we got the hatch inside and we are ready to start on the body work. I'm super excited about this and I think it's gonna come out good. If you look, I already marked where all of the little dents are. So we got a good bit of body work to do, and they're just small little dents. They're not huge or anything like that, but we got a lot of little dents here. So I'm gonna start knocking these things out and getting to it. All right, guys, so to take out these dents, we're just gonna sand the paint off so we can lay some body filler on, and we're gonna move around the entire car and do that. But this is the biggest dent that the car has, so just want to go ahead and fix this one first. Right here, you can see the high spots and the low spots. This is flat, so the paint is coming off, but where the dents are, you can see that the paint isn't coming off, and this whole section right here needs to come down. So, like, I had it flat like this, and it's taking out the low spots, taking out the paint on the flat surfaces, but the low spots, it's not coming off. So what we're gonna do is we're sanding this down and we're gonna apply some body filler after that. All right, guys, so we got this down to the bare metal and we're just gonna show you this one. I'm not gonna show you all of these ones. I'm gonna do them off camera, but I'm gonna show you this one. And right now that's down to the bare metal, and we're just gonna use some, lightweight filler to fill that. And you just mix it up with this and it's good to go. So I'm gonna go ahead and mix that and then put it on the car. All right, guys, so we're using this and we're using this body filler, guys, and here's the thing. You really do not need a lot of this. If you're using too much, filler, guys, it's not a good thing. So this filler right here, I've done probably 5-6 different cars with this. You really do not need a lot of it. Guys, if you're using too much, if you're going through gallons of this stuff, chances are you're not pulling your dents out, you're not fixing the dents right, and you're using too much of it. It does not take a lot of this. You should never really go, I was taught that you should never go over a 1/4 inch thick. So we're gonna mix that, and you want it to be a nice uniform color instead of being gray. And see, like right now, you can still see the gray and blue. So we gotta keep mixing that up. Starting to look good, and we are going to go ahead and put this on the car. And here we go. We are going to put this on there, and basically this is going to get all of those low spots out so it could be nice and smooth when we paint the car. And guys, I prepped a little bit outside past the hole, past the dent, so that way we can cover the whole surface and fix that up pretty nice. And that's gonna be it. Now you see I still got a lot left over. I can take this down more, but I'm just gonna work it down later and smooth it out, leave it a little bit higher. That way I can smooth it out, level it, and we're probably gonna have to add a little bit more. So this is just the first one and we're good to go. All right guys, so we got that first dent knocked out, and I'm gonna go ahead and finish all of these, and I'll show you. It's gonna be the same process as this one, so we'll just skip to all of that and I'll show you when I get some filler on them. All right guys, so we got that body filler on and we are pretty much almost done with this side. I still got to sand this stuff down, but guys, remember, when you take these down to the bare metal, if you can see, I got sand and scratches around it. I went a little bit further out than the dent. That way I'm not putting body filler on unprepped paint. So make sure you prep, like you see how it comes out to here, and it's not exactly, I didn't lay the filler past it because I did not sand the rest of this car yet. So just make sure you don't put filler on unprepped surfaces. So all of these spots where I put filler, they're down to the metal. So be mindful of that, and the filler went over it. So I think right now we are in good shape. And guys, if you look at this, this car looked very straight. And guys, this just goes to show you that this goes to show you it's not always as good as it looks. Now, here's the thing. When I sand this, primer it, and block sand it again, I'm gonna still find something that I need to repair. So just be careful when you're doing this. Take your time, and it will come out looking good. Here we go. I knocked this down with the sander just a little bit, guys. You don't want to go too far. You want to let the block sander do the work. So we just took all the excess body filler off the top, and now that it's down a little bit, we are going to go ahead and block sand this and try to make it straight as possible. Now, one thing to remember, guys, take your time, because you might have to do this 2, 3, 4 times depending on whether there's pinholes or you miss something. So don't be in a rush. Just take your time and make it look good. We have to block sand everything by hand. I am using 220 to 320 grit. So this is it's very labor intensive, but you gotta do it to make it look good. And we're gonna have to do this a couple of times. So what you want to do, guys, you're using the outsides to you want to bring it down level. And like you see this curve here, this curve is not going to let me take it too far down because we're going to stay level with the body. So that's the whole point of block sanding, just to get that nice flat surface. And we're gonna use the rest of the body panel to make this surface shape the same way as this. And you see that line starting to break through, guys? So now there's a low spot somewhere in here, so the line won't completely break through because filler will be covering that up. All right, guys, so we got all of this sanded down. Looks pretty good. Now there's some areas where I need to add more filler and stuff. Like you see this little section right here, I gotta add more filler. You see I got like some pinholes right there. So I'm gonna lay a little more filler on there. Just a light coat. Areas like right here. So if you can see, guys, the rest of this is kind of smooth, blended in, and then this kind of just dropped, so gotta take that down and put some more filler on there. And you know, we're getting there, but for right now, I'm just gonna go ahead and start sanding the car with some 320 grit, and we'll probably get up to 320, 400 grit before we lay some primer on. Guys, so I got this sanded down and it's looking good for the most part. I do gotta do a little bit more filler work, but normally I would do the bottom. But guys, right now it's 28 degrees and I really don't want to lay on the cold floor, so I'm just gonna go ahead and jump to the top right now and start working on that. All right, guys, so we are done with the passenger side and got a lot of body work done. I thought this car was very straight, but the more I got into it, the more I seen that it wasn't as straight as I thought it was. Now, it wasn't a bad car, but there was a lot of little dings and dents we had to take out. So yeah, you know, just on this side alone, there's about 20, 30 of them. So, you know, it's a good bit of body work, but the car is coming out pretty good, and we're gonna try to get some primer on this in the next day or two. And once we do that, we'll block sand it with some guide coat and see if there's any more dents or anything I missed. I'm sure there will be, but for right now, we're in a good place. All right, guys, so I'm taping the car off now, and we are almost ready to primer this thing. And what I'm doing now is I'm just gonna tape around the edges and kind of get this to where it's right in the right place, so that we don't get primer in areas that we don't want primer. And guys, when you mask the car off, a good tape job will always show in your paint job. If you do a bad job at this part, at this stage of the process, it's just not gonna look good and it's gonna show. All right, guys, so we got this thing all taped up and we are ready for primer, and I'm excited about this. Now that it's ready for primer, we are gonna see how the body work came out, if we're gonna see any imperfections or anything like that. once we prime it and block sand it. So right now it's all ready to go. I'm just gonna give it a final wipe down with some wax and grease remover, and then we're gonna prime this thing. right, guys, here this thing goes. We got 2 heavy coats on it. That's going to be enough to block sand it. And this area where that big dent was, it looks pretty good. So the whole car looks good. It came out pretty good. Yeah. I see a spot right here on the roof that I'm gonna have to fix. But for the most part, this is looking pretty good. I laid it down very heavy. I laid it down heavy so that, let me walk outside. But I laid it down really heavy. That way it'll have a nice shine to it, so I can see any dents and stuff like that before I start block sanding. Because once I block sand, it's gonna take all that shine away. So I want that shine there. That way I can see any little imperfections. I mean, I am gonna guide coat, block sand, and get it right, but for right now, with just that shine, I can see those little imperfections. Thank you for watching. Like, comment, subscribe. Follow me on Instagram and Facebook at 79th Productions. If you would like to help support the channel, pick up some merchandise. I'll put the link in the description. That definitely helps out a lot because all the funds from the merchandise goes directly into building these cars, and it helps. So that's it, guys. Thank you for watching. I'll catch you guys on the next one. God bless you guys.